Seasons in a row. We'll see if that's true for Season 3. But right now, just new faces. Underwear is still running on the lower end. But the two on the winner's end, the two most likely to have a spot into the season, actually one of them will definitely have a spot at the end of this.
Right.
Eplicas and DV8 starting off with that neutral forest versus sword matchup. Now, I know we've talked a little bit about this, but final decisions about this. Is DV8 about to get dunked?
Quite possibly. This is interesting. So Eplicas A decided to go with sword first, the only disaster player to do that, I believe. Also the only disaster player that we know of to run mid shadow, so the only kind of wild card out of it. And he's playing Floral Fencer, so kind of a different version as well.
Right. Now, I want to point out something. You know, yesterday for the EU qualifier, we saw Atomies.
Yes.
We don't see any Atomies.
No.
None.
I think it's because of what happened with Atomy yesterday. it can be super powerful, but it can also brick a whole bunch in your top 8 games, and then you just lose with it. So, I gotta say, like, Atomy's a great deck, wonderful deck, fun to play, and super awesome. But it can brick, and when you're playing in a tournament where you can't afford to lose games, you really want to be bringing a deck that has that high risk reward factor. You know what I mean? Like, you really want that in your lineup.
Well, now we're seeing just how amazing Hedgehog really is, because look at the value.
This is the pure form. This is every turn pumps. Let's go.
Yeah. Now I'm really digging the Angel of the Word here. This clears the board, gets rid of the Hedgehog. Gotta get rid of the Hedgehog. Love the animated Angel of the Word. Sweet. Love my animated cards.
Doing its best Lyriel impression for one more play point.
Well, I don't know. It's in some cases it's better than Lyriel.
Of course, it can be, but it should be, right? It costs one more play point. But technically speaking, if that was a Lyriel, could have played an Actress Fairy alongside of it. But as we've been seeing the disaster players, they like to keep the cards in their hand. This is, you know what? This is actually what makes the neutral version of the forest deck look really weird to me. You're playing Farias, you're playing Lyriels, you're playing a bunch of low-costed followers that tend to work better on the aggressive side of things, but then you're holding them in your hand to make Beauty and the Beast bigger, and then you just have a bunch of dumpy cards late in the game. It's there's like everything about this neutral forest deck I just don't like right now.
Well, DV8 is the only one of them left with the neutral forest deck, and he is in the winners finals. So maybe there's something to his play that's just a little different than everyone else's, you know?
Either that or his Elf Twins Assaults actually deal 2 damage instead of 1, which is awesome.
Oh, that hurts.
Or more.
That hits the soul, brother.
Doesn't even go with it. Interesting.
No?
Saving the Elf Twins for bigger game.
Yeah. Well, I think that's not necessarily bad, especially when you might need against Council of Card Knights, for instance, or Mars. You know, you're gonna need to be able to deal with that. You know, playing. You know,
I'm still on my first thought from a week ago, where I would just ban Sword. You know what? I think actually right now Sword might just be the best deck in whatever iteration it is, and I would never say this. Okay, this is not something I would just say. I think that you can plan to beat PDK much easier with a control deck than you can any version of Sword right now because of the value that each and every individual card generates. Council of Card Knights, Round Table Assembly, Alwitas, White, like if you're playing the more mid-rangey version of it, White Paladins, and, you know, the Round Table Assembly into that combination with Mars. And then you've got Aggro Sword that has all this crazy, the same stuff, just doing it a lot faster and a lot more damage. I just don't want to play against Sword right now, man. I really don't.
I cannot in any good conscience disagree with you. But if I had a choice, I'm a little different than you. I would ban PDK. I would just take that, but I'm a control player, so like I would immediately ban PDK for that reason.
That's fair.
And I'm the type of guy that would bring a double control lineup. So
that's fair. So you actually think that control would fare better versus sword decks, whether it be aggro or mid range?
I think it depends on the way you build the deck. I would rather fight the matchups that I would have a better chance at winning. I would have a better chance at beating the aggro decks because they're incrementally building up to damage, and control decks, at least the way I build them, tend to handle damage like that better. Okay, but when you're
the PDK
playing
with Fortes and okay, I see what you're saying.
Dragons and even the aggro variation with them running Hippogriff Riders and Phoenix Rider Ionas and all that, there's tons and tons of burst damage that you can't really hold off. I'd rather not fight that. I'd rather fight the sword deck.
That's interesting. See, that's interesting to me. Like, I've built a few decks. Sword was actually one of them. I think what's weird to me is I have a different version of Sword, but the Sword deck did okay against PDK. I think that Haven actually right now against PDK is just bonkers. I think you can build a proper Haven deck around Aether of the White Wing to beat PDK consistently, and I think it's a really good option right now. And I don't think anybody's really exploring that option right now because they think it's so weak. But if aggro sword becomes not a part of the meta, I think it's an easy shift into. Or if you plan on banning.
Well, just a little bit of a thing, like Exo and myself have been playing this Haven list that's actually been performing incredibly well against PDK. So it's certainly possible. Ooh, nice.
Yes, certainly possible. And honestly, it doesn't take you too long to figure things out, right? Like, if you understand what a deck does, like, this was a brainchild of mine at like midnight, a couple days ago.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I was just like, you know what? These cards clicked in my head. Boom. All I can say to you guys is Aether of the White Wing, Triple Taurus the Great. Figure out the rest for yourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't even play Aegis.
That's
Don't
right.
even do it.
Don't play Aegis. Don't play it as a trap.
Yep.
All right, anyway, let's get back to this game. We're almost to the end of it here. Beating the Beast actually able to stick on the board, but not getting that much value. Even an area here wouldn't matter too much.
No, it wouldn't. Well, it would actually. I stand corrected. It would actually matter because he would be able to, heal it up, and he would still be able to attack again to clear something else because there's no way he's going face. Not with this board, especially knowing he's fighting against sword. So he would actually be able to. Actually, no, I guess clearing wouldn't really do much either.
Right, clearing one of the followers. Yeah. Council of Card Knights on the back foot. We got Lux on the back foot.
I mean, there's still Albert too,
Right, and Albert as a possibility. Plays out the Grimnir now for defense. I like this. Can't really wait 2 more turns for that guy to come into play.
Right.
I actually think starting with Lux here is a really good thing, and then you can finish with Council if you need to.
Well, yeah, he can trade in one and then play Council.
I like this. No Albert, but does get a front guard.
But yeah, front guard will definitely put in some work if he should choose to play
this Mars. This Mars is actually a way better option with that whole soul swing. He can just do a whole lot more this turn.
Well, he can't get any actual. Well, I mean, I guess he could trade in his board and then do the whole soul swing with that. So yeah, he can do that. Certainly plausible. Oh, he's playing Council. Okay.
No Council.
This is fine too. This is just
absolutely fine.
That's fine. And this is where the. Oh my goodness. This feels awful.
I really want to know who they played against where this was, like, what deck does Neutral Forest beat? Because at the moment, it doesn't look like it beats anything. But then again, we're obviously looking at a lopsided view of it where Disaster has all really well-tuned decks. But maybe they were just also really good against all the aggro decks. But I don't know. Like, Midsword not even being an aggro deck, just, like, being able to outpace and out-aggro Neutral Forest the entire way.
Slaughtered.
Yeah, like that game was not even close. More cards in hand, more cards in play, more damage, just everything.
Yep. Lopsided. Yeah, Eplicas is playing like a man on fire right now. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He is jamming all the cards. He's handing out all the L's. He's doing his work. So Eplicas is doing. I think he's gonna do it, man. I think he's in.
I want to put you guys into the mindset of Eplicas right now. This is his first big major, right?
Mhm.
He's on the precipice of getting invited to the biggest season of NGE yet, because it includes the World Grand Prix.
Right.
And this is his potential game to get there. He's sitting on the edge of his seat right now, sweating, guarantee you.
Yeah.
Wanting to win this game so badly. And this is really the position, like, there's no better feeling than this. Except for the fact right after you win it, right? This is the best feeling right before the winning feeling. Because like this is when you're in the moment, this is when your focus is at its highest, this is what you prepared for, like this is it, guys.
Right. Well, I will say that the last time we saw this matchup didn't go so well for Forest.
Well, we've been saying that a lot though, so.
However, I think given the hand, it's plausible that he may have a chance. I actually want to point out one thing that I think may actually be holding this deck back, the neutral Forest list. And it may not, people may be, what are you talking about, Aya? But I actually think that it's Dance of Death.
Yeah, it's too expensive.
Yeah, it's too
Everything else in the deck is expensive.
Yeah. Dance of Death, I feel, is holding this deck back. I get why it's there, but the thing is, if you're teching it against PDK and you're banning PDK, what does Dance of Death actually do? It does work against Atomy, so there's that. Yeah, there's that, but what else?
Maybe not even fast enough, though, you know what I mean? And it's not like it's Wizardess of Oz Runecraft, where you can play those Dance of Deaths for a lot cheaper and, you know, get some tempo out of them. It's just a really slow card on top of a really slow deck. We're actually seeing DV8 play more cards in the early turns than we've seen the Forest decks play so far. He's actually got a realistic curve, which is dealing with what Eplicas is trying to do right now. So he's in much better shape than we've seen Forest in the past.
Now, if he draws a Beauty and a Beast, that would be really good right now.
This would be the time.
This would be the time to cash in all of your luck. Okay? You go up to the register, you're like, hey, I want to exchange these coins for some luck. Okay? Please, you know, I'll take 10 luck. Thank you. All right? This is the time. He needs
This is the time. Not only is it the right deck to have it against, it's the right turn to have it on.
Right. Definitely.
Because there's not going to be a way for that thing to be dead, specifically next turn, but now that we see Ektar in hand, the farther this game goes, the worse and worse Beauty and the Beast is going to get, as we've said before.
Yeah. So this is exactly the time that Beauty and the Beast is not in his hand. He didn't draw it.
He did not. So Carrots plus Staircase and an Evo.
Yeah, that sinking feeling.
Yeah. It's starting to tighten in.
Right? Yeah. You know,
well, this is the thing that I've been noticing about Neutral Forest again, is it has ways to stall. There's no way for it to actually win the game after it's done stalling. Like, yes, Dance of Death will clear something. Yes, Aaron will stall for a turn. Yes, the other Aaron will stall for a turn. But, like, where's the win? Like, how are you winning this game? And Beauty and the Beast has just proven to not be that win condition that it feels like it should be.
Well, I mean,
at least not in this version of the deck.
Well, there's the Beauty and the Beast, but it's not good here. Like,
going into the Ektar turn, it's really risky.
It's not good. Like, last turn would have been perfect. This turn, not so much.
Not so perfect.
Not only that, but Ceres, a very brand new card that Shadow got. That card is irritating. Okay, irritating. Clash, deal 2 to the enemy follower that the enemy that's attacking it, and at the end of the
defending.
Turn, it's attacking into it or defending, right? And at the end of your turn, you gain 2 defense. That.
I like this line of play. This is actually the most board control he could have gotten. He actually gets to keep his carrot around. which is also good. Now Ektar is going to be able to come out with full value, but I think this is a Thane turn. Basically, just build up another board for an Ektar.
Yeah, this is an easy thing. He didn't even think about it. He's like, I know Thane right away.
Yeah, gets that white value, gets that Prince Catacomb value.
Yeah.
In an unbelievable position here.
And Hector doesn't even... oh, yeah, it does trigger his effect. I'm sorry, he has 3 neutrals. So, he has the 2 carrots. So, he does have that. But again, I think Aaron's really your only play here. You know?
Yeah.
I think Aaron's the play. And
Aaron's the only way, yeah, that you can feel comfortable about going into the
play.
next turn. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a feel terrible play because you're like, well, I know he's probably got Ektar, but I have to do something, and he's going to take 2 damage from this, so he really only gained 1 health.
He's also going to take 2 damage off the Ektar token that's about to hit play, while also clearing the ward. Like, this is, let's see, so that's 2 damage, plus 5 is 7, plus 6 is 13, plus Evo is 15, so that's just lethal.
Yeah. It's a sad song, but this is exactly what we've seen every time.
Somebody had to write it, and you know what, DV8? that just happens to be you today.
Yeah. Somebody get the violins and the piano.
Eplicas, man, doing it. First big tournament, making it into the season. Great job, Eplicas. Great job. Like, you are what we watched this for.
Eplicas makes it into Season 3. On the winner's end of the bracket is into the grand finals, and DV8 will now move to the loser's end. Could not make it work on Neutral Forest. 1 turn too late. I can't believe that Beauty and the Beast would have the nerve to show up on turn 7.
I know, right?